name. My name's Gregory Vicilano. I'm now 58, believe it or not, and my roles at the club, firstly I'm treasurer and also the football director, and on top of that I sort of take up whatever activity needs to be done. My involvement with the club started at the beginning of the 1987 season. I was playing in those days at Valley Trident. I had a season with them in '86. Prior to that I was at Brisbane City, or Zuri Junior. I was approached by an old mate of mine, Sam Hanyman, to come down to Lutwyche United and take on the role as player coach. We were then in the old 4th Division. The club the previous year in 1986 had won promotion from, I guess, 5th Division to 4th Division, and they asked me to come on board. Probably not because I was much chop as a coach, but because they knew I had some pretty good connections with some Brisbane City buddies. The current period, North Brisbane exited Football Brisbane competition at the end of the 1995 season. In the beginning of the 2015 season, both Kerry Harmon, the current president, who's also a member of the board at Football Brisbane, and myself had found ourselves with some really nice redundancy packages from the Australian Taxation Office. Plenty of time on our hands, and a few things sort of converged. Firstly, we had the New Farm Punjab group who were utilising our field, as well as QUT Uni, and we basically formed strategic alliances with those groups, and Kerry and I, if you like, got the band back together, and North Brisbane played in Football Brisbane the first time in 2015, but that year was mainly just through the New Farm Punjab connection. Then 2016 was really the first year when the club re-announced itself as a Football Brisbane club. I continued to be a player coach through to the end of the 1989 season, so I was player coach for 3 years. During that time we went from 4th to 3rd Division. That first season in '87 we actually went through the season undefeated, won 19, drew 3 games out of 22. Following year we just missed out on promotion. '89 was, if you like, a bit of a levelling year. So I found myself the 1990 year, just going back to being a player under the tutelage of Maro Saftic, and it was in the 1990 year that we actually got promotion from 3rd to 2nd Division, and then 91 we did the double. We went from 3rd to 2nd and 2nd to 1st in the 1991 season, and in those years I was the captain of the first team, and obviously by the time we got to 4X League, or 1st Division, 1992, I think I figured that my use-by date had come, so I just started playing more socially after that, and sort of continued in social playing roles. But it was around about the 1990 year that I started getting involved in administration, first as a treasurer, for a small period of time as a president, but mostly as a treasurer through the ensuing years, and also taken up coaching various teams, mainly women's football in the time sort of from 1995 onwards till about 2015, when we weren't actually playing in Football Brisbane competition. I coached our women's team in the Christian Soccer League for a number of years. Also continued to play a bit during that time, and of course continue to hold down the role of treasurer. Been coaching women's football for the last 4 years, including last year we played in the Brisbane Women's Premier League. Just realised it was a bit too much for me, so I stood back this year, and I'm just sort of focusing on being a football director and club treasurer. Good question. Why North Brisbane? Look, it all started basically with a bunch of mates, and I think the social aspect, the mateship, was what I guess attracted me to the club in the first place. I think the story also, I'd be lying if that wasn't a factor. You know, that first sort of wave from about '87 through the mid-90s, at least into the early '90s when I was involved as a player. We did go from 5th to 1st Division, 4 promotions in 6 seasons. Just being a big part of that was a huge thrill for me, and just seeing the club grow and being a central part of it was something which motivated me hugely. Look, I don't think I could go past the day when 1991, that famous day when we beat Inala City 2-0. We're in 2nd Division. It's the last game of the season. We needed to win. Nothing less than a win would have secured promotion. It was a home game. Had Inala won, they would have got promoted. So, you know, it was a winner-take-all battle between 2 clubs who fought hammer and tong against each other throughout the year. you know, would have been 400 or 500 people here this day, and probably that day, and probably to this day, that remains the biggest crowd I've seen at Prentice Park. It was a huge emotion for me, being the captain and someone who'd been so involved in the club's rise from, you know, 5th to 1st Division, to actually, you know, I guess captain a team that ultimately went on to be invited to play in 4X League. It was just a magical moment. I think loyalty is something that is largely inherent. I think you've got to have it within you. Something which sort of has been part of my kit bag for a while, but I think also loyalty is reciprocal too. I think it's really important that, you know, if we want our players to be loyal, we need to show them as administrators that they're welcome at the club, that, you know, give them a sense of ownership, give them a sense that they're part of something that's building. And just little things, you know, we make a point of trying to mention players by name. We make a point, and Paul Brown, our canteen convener, does a fantastic job making sure that every player that plays a home game at this club gets fed after the game. It's simple things like that, but I think loyalty, as I said, largely is inherent, but also, you know, it's inspired by that concept of reciprocation.